Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Lights Week 2 NFL DFS show. As you can see, Doc is not here, Swami is not here, but I am here, Trevor is here, and of course, the one remaining man from the threesome, Mr. Willie Wallace. What's going on, Willie?
I'm doing good. Listen, I was kind of close last week, so I'm ready to give the takes this week, and I got a guy who I will use for balls to the walls call that had a touchdown last week that is going to get more time that you stole from me. You're a rascal from in our fantasy league. Then you know who it is, and I ain't gonna say the name right now, but you know.
I know who you're talking about. Speaking of that league, I'm playing Trevor this week, and Trevor got lucky because stupid me, knowing Evan Ingram's injured, should have put in my backup tight end for his game, Tucker Kraft. So I missed that opportunity. All he did was go off and have a huge game. So you're welcome for that, Trevor. While we're at it, what's going on, Trev?
Not much. I'll buy you some tissue and send them there.
Yeah, please. I need it. I was complaining to Willie for a while today. So
I'm in so many leagues. I never looked at your roster, so I had no clue.
Yeah. Well, I'm in so many leagues I didn't even think about it. And then I was like, well, I took Ingram out everywhere else, so why didn't I do it there? But that's the importance of checking all your leagues Thursdays, folks. Check all your leagues Thursdays just in case. Move that player that might be in the flex into a position. Move that player that's on the bench into your roster just in case so you don't make the mistake that I did. But we're not here to talk seasonal. We're here to talk DFS. So let's get into the first game on this slate. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars heading to Cincinnati, two teams that came off wins last week. Jags win was impressive. Bengals, not so much, but a win is a win. Willie, what do you like in this game, if anything?
Well, I mean, listen. So it's called get back. Okay, so first of all, last week was a terrible matchup for Cincinnati, and it's a divisional game. You know how divisional games are. It's not good, especially Cleveland. Cleveland gives Cincinnati the blues. So I was all off for Burrow anyway because you got that bad boogeyman on that Cleveland on the other side that was. I think there was 3 straight sacks in that game, I believe. That too. I mean, Burrow was packed up like a rat, but he's going to be let out of jail this week. So I really think that you got a couple of things that's in here. First of all, Jacksonville play cover 3 52% of the time, and guess who does well on cover 3? Mr. Chase.
I was going to say it's got to be Chase or Higgins or both.
30%, average 3.41 yards per route. Okay, so what I'm telling you is this could be I know Chase pissed a lot of y'all off last week. I know that, but this is you can't let a game like that deter you the next game. So Chase is definitely in play in this game, and even though Cincinnati did well against the run, but Cleveland's run is ass anyway. So it seems like they traded away. They traded away, what's the name, to Philadelphia now. So Travis Etienne, believe it or not, is now in play. Because, one thing that I will say about what that coach does is when he gets running backs, he puts them in position to win. So now we got Travis Etienne is now viable. I mean, Brown had 23 touches, so he's viable in this game. So I just think that this game definitely has some fantasy goodness in it. But I'm going to tell you the one thing I still don't trust. I don't trust him because he has not lifted up Brian Thomas yet. He was asked with Brian Thomas last year. Brian Thomas went off when Matt Jones was the quarterback. That's when he started going off. Trevor Lawrence, for some reason, doesn't. I don't know what it is with Brian Thomas and Trevor Lawrence. I think he might have did something with his girl or something. Something's going on because he don't want to throw him the damn rock. I mean, I think it's unimpressive and it's unacceptable. If he did something with your girl, you got to be professional and throw it to my man Thomas because I got him in some leagues. Now, don't be doing that to me. And 2, Trevor Lawrence proved that he throws it to I am not playing Thomas until he throws it. I'll be playing Mr. Strange. Mr. Strange, I'll run it back with Mr. Strange. But I am not playing Mr. Thomas until Trevor Lawrence stop playing and throw the ball to the man.
He should definitely be throwing it to him more often. I was shocked to see how few targets in that game. Trevor, I want to get your thoughts on this game, but I also want to ask you a question. Do you buy into the fact that the Cowboys always seem to start slowly? They always have this really weird first few weeks. Does that deter you at all from using them this week? Or do you think maybe that win in week 1 has them set up to maybe start 2-0 for the first time in possibly the Joe Burrow era, if I'm not mistaken, or at least in 3 or 4 years?
Well, they were supposed to start off fast this year. That's why they were talking about playing preseason. They wanted to play preseason. They were going to start out fast. Well, Cleveland's very good defensively, especially up front. Burrow didn't have a lot of time. So this is Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville looked good against Carolina, but Carolina stinks. I played a little too much Bryce Young last week, hoping. I think I had a lot more hope than thinking. And I think Willie's right when it comes to Trevor Lawrence. I want him to be good. You think he's going to be good, and then you play him. Then on Sunday, he's just meh. And, Jacksonville's going to want to run the football. They're going to want to try to take the air out of the game if they can. I don't know if they'll be able to. I agree with Brenton Strange. I mean, he should be a great play this week. And, I'm not going to play a lot of them, but I'm going to play Travis Hunter and Dynamic Brown a little bit in some lineups just as off pieces. I won't stack them, but you think Thomas would have a big game, but I think I'm agreeing with Willie that I'm going to stay away from him because there's a lot of other receivers in the slate that I like.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence kind of stands out to me as a pretty solid real-life quarterback, but I feel like there's been only one season where he really produced from a fantasy perspective.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just not interested. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, man, he semi stinks. And if he don't do it this year because he got no guaranteed money as a contract, it'll be night for him. Because if he can't do it with this team right here, you can't.
Yeah, he's got pieces. He's got a great coach with Liam Cohen, who you alluded to, bringing ETN out of his shell again. So, and by the way, you mentioned the trade. Yeah, Bigsby now with the Eagles. So Tootin looks like he's going to get some run. Anything else on this game, boys?
I'm good.
I think Chase Brown's wouldn't play too. Yeah, it's just a lot of pass up. You can play anybody from Cincinnati, I think, if you want. If you feel it. Chase is the most
all right. Bills and Jets. So this is a game that really stood out to me when I looked at the slate for the first time. I was even considering doing like a Fields Wilson stack and then running it back with Coleman. I don't know the status of James Cook. I think he's healthy now. So I think I had something like Cook, Coleman, Fields, and Wilson in my build in this game. Is that something that remotely is interesting to either one of you? Whether it is or isn't, tell me what is. Willie.
Listen, I tell you what. So, the Bills, as you saw against the Ravens, I mean, that was a hell of a game, by the way. That was a hell of a game. And you saw the Pittsburgh game and you saw the Jets game. One thing I do know about the Jets this year is they have worked on that offensive line. They are physical. They are really physical. So I think, against Buffalo, because remember, Buffalo's light in the ass. Okay, they're light in the ass. And first of all, let me say this. Henry is a monster. Okay, so nobody's Henry. So let me say that. But they got similar traits that are very interesting. So what the Jets do is they like, you remember Glenn was with Detroit last year. They like to play a lot of man-to-man, and they did 44% in that last game, and they did 51% against Josh Allen. If you remember that game last year that they played in Detroit, where Josh Allen destroyed them for 41 points. And then when he had 3 touchdown passes, he had 2 touchdown runs. Josh Allen had a field day against him because when you play man-to-man against Josh Allen since last season, he's got 22 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
Not to mention your back's turned to him, and then he takes off and runs for 30 yards.
So so when you have that, but what the Jets do that is very interesting is that Ravens did is they did an outside zone run. Okay, so they ran that 9 times for 108 yards, and then Breece Hall did the same thing in the last game, and he ran it 11 times for 79 yards, an average of 7.1 yards per carry. So what I'm telling you is, I think there's some interesting stacks that you use because I think Breece Hall is definitely in play against Buffalo. I think he's in play against Buffalo, and I think of course Josh Allen's in play, but the guy that I like more than anybody, because I think what they're going to do is they're going to put Sauce and he normally plays one of the best receivers, who is that going to be? That should be Coleman. Coleman will be the guy that he matches up with. And guess who that leaves, who I like a lot this week, Mr. Josh Palmer. I think Josh Palmer is a very interesting player in this game. And I'm going to be playing some Josh Palmer, and he might be one of those calls that I might be saying later on in the night. But I think he's very interesting. They got a thing called separation. They call it ass. And I think, he got a no guy. His ass is good when it comes to getting separation. And if the Jets play man-to-man, then that's when he does. He was number 12 in the league in man-to-man last year. So I think Josh Palmer is very interesting in this game.
He is, and he's $1,100 cheaper than Shakir on DraftKings, so that could give you a little edge. I feel like Hall's just going to be so chalky, even though I agree with what you're saying. I feel like a lot of people are going to look at how bad the Bills were against the run, and a lot of people are going to look to Hall because he is considered to be one of the elite backs, but he's not at like 7,500 or 8,000. He's in the low 6,000s. I think he's going to be very heavily owned. Sometimes that's good, sometimes not so much. Trevor, what do you think?
I think I'm going to play. I'm going to have a lineup or two of the quarterbacks for each team. I'm probably going to play him a little bit naked. I do like Hall. I just don't know if he's going to outscore some of the other backs that I like. There's other backs I like a lot better. But I mean, I could definitely see him scoring, 100 yards and getting a touchdown, maybe two. But I like Fields a little bit because he can run the football. I'm not going to be on Garrett Wilson much. I think Buffalo's going to try to take him away.
Yeah, but I agree with the quarterbacks. Listen, Fields is definitely that coordinator from Detroit went to the Jets, and I tell you what, man, he's making Hill a lot better. He's making. Listen, he was already interested before. Now, if Fields gets some confidence, and the way he looked, he really looked poised in that last game. So I do like Fields too.
My thing on Fields and Wilson is that for Trevor, you are one of the better DFS minds out there. So I'm not going to disagree with you, but I am going to say that I feel like the Jets passing game is going to be Garrett Wilson. And Fields is just going to force the ball to Garrett Wilson as much as possible. I loaded up on Wilson in leagues this year because I think he's going to see 10 plus targets a game, and maybe he only catches 6 of them, but it could be 6 for 80 and a touchdown a lot of the time because he is that talented. So if I'm going Fields, I guess I could go Fields naked, but if I'm going Fields, I personally like him with Garrett Wilson. Willie, would you throw Garrett Wilson into there, or if you're doing Jets, are you more on the Brees side?
Yeah, I think you could go both ways. I think you could play Brees and Wilson together, and then if you want to bring it back with somebody, you can. Or like I said, you can play both quarterbacks. I agree with Trevor. You can play both quarterbacks naked, and just move on, because I think, if the Jets play the way they've been playing, and if they play a lot of man-to-man, Josh Allen is a spreader. He spreads the ball around, so you know what I mean. So it might be just better to play him, and then you can get your receivers from the other games that you think is going to go off. So,
yeah, you want a nice prop? Give me a Josh Allen, Justin Fields rushing touchdown each in that game. I'll play it as a parlay. Trevor, anything else on this game?
Yeah, well, I'm just going to say eventually the Jets are going to need somebody else to step up other than Wilson because teams will get sick of that and try to take that away.
Yeah, because only in the second half he only had 27 yards. So they kind of tightened up on the second half. He had a good first half, but that second half was pedestrian. So they're going to have somebody that's got to, and I don't see nobody, honestly. I don't. So, Fields is throwing to me and you. And that's ass. That is ass.
Yeah, they didn't do a very good job of finding that secondary player. Okay, Cleveland and Baltimore. We talked a lot about Cleveland when we were talking about the Bengals, and we did mention that Ravens-Bills game was just unreal. And I don't think anyone really slows down Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, but I feel like if there's a team and it's not Pittsburgh, it's Cleveland that can do it. I'm not sure I love the Ravens this week, even though I'm sure they'll win this game. I just don't think I want to pay up for these expensive prices on these players against a defense that can play reasonably well against them, even though this game is in Baltimore. What do you think, Trevor?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to stay away from Baltimore. I know that they can be very explosive no matter who they play, but I just don't think this is going to be them sealing games. But I realize it can happen. I mean, Lamar and Henry can do it against anybody. But I just like too many other players on the slate, and I have to put my line in the sand somewhere. And this is the game.
What are you thinking, Willie? Is this a game you're interested in at all?
I might throw one thing with Lamar in there, or maybe play Lamar and Henry, because listen, Lamar is only $7,000. You know what I mean? So his price is kind of depressed a little bit, but it's a divisional game. Okay, these divisional games, you know what I mean? The Ravens are going to win. Oh, the Ravens, and they might kick their behinds where you don't want anybody. So I'm just mostly on this game. It's a pass for me, but listen, respect to Lamar, because Lamar can go off, and so can Henry. Henry's a monster, but I just think that Cleveland's defensive line is pretty good, and it's a divisional game. So I just think it's going to be one of those games where then they can have a good game, but they won't go off that something that you're going to need, especially at their price points.
Yeah, I also don't think that they necessarily need to go for it on fourth down as much, knowing that Cleveland's not going to put up 40-something points like the Bills did. You know, that it 4th and 3 in field goal range, they might just kick that field goal this time, whereas on Sunday night, it was touchdown or bust if you're the Ravens against that Bills offense, right? So that's kind of where I was thinking from the get-go. Giants and Cowboys. I mean, I don't think there's anything to like about the Giants offense from what we saw last week. I mean, Neighbors is always a play, but how good of a play? And the Cowboys, you got to think Lamb wants to rebound from those drops. And Javonte Williams surprisingly looked pretty good against the Eagles. I know Jalen Carter wasn't there, but those are two players in Lamb and Javonte that stand out to me for the Cowboys this week. Otherwise, not a lot of interest in this game. What say you, Willie?
Well, Javonte, the thing about it, he got 77% of the touches in the backfield, so, and I think Blue was a DNP. I think they didn't activate him, I believe, so he has the touches, but he is this game to me, now, if I might play an individual play out in this, it will be CeeDee Lamb, because listen, he was available. Okay, that he had 4 drops in that game. 4 drops. I mean, I thought Dak played a pretty good game against Philadelphia, but he didn't get rewarded for it because Ferguson dropped a touchdown pass in the end zone. Lamb dropped 4 touchdowns. I mean, Lamb could have had like 180 yards. I mean, I don't know if he was point saving. I don't know what was going on, but Lamb was not at all. I mean, what the hell? And I had him in my league. I said, come on, you bastard. Catch the damn ball, and I had him in some stuff, man. I said,
there was 2 that, I mean, high school receivers can catch those balls. And they were really bad drops. And it probably cost them the game. But that's why I feel like he's got to bounce back.
Yeah. I mean, so I think
the Giants defense, their front 7's pretty good, but their secondary's not.
And they allowed the Commanders to average 6.7 yards per carry.
Yeah, JCM crushed them in his first game ever. I mean, I think Javonte can do that too.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying, but it's not my favorite because I don't think it's going to be that type of game. Is divisional, just like if you had the Commanders game, the Giants game, it was 21-6. There was nothing really that you needed in that.
It's not a money maker, no.
Right?
It's not a money maker. There's the odd player, but the game itself, I'm with you. Trevor, are you with us? This is not a money making game, but maybe the odd player is a good fit.
I like CeeDee Lamb, and that's about it. I would like the Giants more if I could get more time. If Wilson had more time, I think it could connect better with Neighbors, but I don't trust them to have time to throw the football.
I mean, the Cowboys don't have much of a pass rush now because they gave their pass rush to the Green Bay Packers, as we saw last night. But so it should be a little better for Russell Wilson, but we'll have to see. I just don't. I think Russell Wilson's washed. I think he's been washed since Denver.
He's buying time. They're waiting to game 5, and they're going to put Dart in there, and Dart will be the quarterback. Now, that's when I'm going to have interest in Neighbors and some other people because Dart, he has that little it factor. I think that I would like. And Russell Wilson, man, it's like I said, it's time to go night-night.
Yeah, I mean, even gave Jameis Winston a chance because they're going to score points if Winston's the quarterback. He might throw 3 interceptions, but he'll also throw for 330 and 2.
Hey, he will sling it. That's what I like about
Yeah,
him.
I mean, I would if I have neighbors, I would love that to be the move. So let's move on to a game that could be really exciting. Ben Johnson returns to Detroit now as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. Bears coming off a really, really bad second half, especially fourth quarter. Trevor, I know you love that. And the Lions coming off a terrible showing on the road in Green Bay. Something's got to give here. I can see this game having some fireworks. What do you think, Trev?
Yeah, I think both sides could do some damage here. The nice thing about the Bears is they're priced pretty well. I think Odunze is going to be their best receiver, and I think he's priced pretty well. If they can, once again, it comes down to pass protection. Detroit's secondary has stunk for several years. I don't think it's much better. Green Bay, Love could have threw for 4 touchdown passes. They want to push the pace last week. They just slowed it down and just try to take the air out of the football. Detroit side, I'm a little bit worried about their offensive line issues. I don't think it's as good. It's not as good as last year because they lost Ragnow. But you got to love Gibbs. If he's going to catch 10 passes and if he's going to be on the field as much as he is, I have to like Gibbs in this game. I think he's going to score for sure at home.
Yeah, I got a Gibbs touchdown in one of my TD props, and the Vikings ran the ball pretty well against the Bears, especially in the second half, especially when they got Jordan Mason going. So I think Gibbs can actually do more on the ground this week too, because he found no room to run in week 1. Willie, what do you think?
I think this game has some interesting possibilities. The thing about Caleb Williams, he's still learning. You got to remember, man, Ben Johnson, it's not easy to get this offense to grab this offense. And you know that from the snaps. Like Caleb Williams took 50% of the snaps under center. When he was under center, he averaged 4.0 yards per attempt. But when he was in shotgun, where he's comfortable, he averaged about 7 yards per attempt. So, I agree with Trevor. Listen, Odunze, I love him. I like him in this game, and I think he's going to be one of my plays that I'm going to be playing in this on this slate here. So I think he's interesting, and I think you can run it back with Gibbs. You know what I mean? So, and I'm going to tell you, a guy that everybody needs to look at is a guy that we will mention later. Mr. Tesla. I'm going to tell you, this dude, I'm telling you, get that third receiver out of here. He stinks. Get my boy in there. Tesla, whatever his name, Tesla, whatever.
Tesla with a capital S and a double A at the
got
end.
some skills, and they even said what they say, and he's 30. I think he's still 3,100, right? They
said 33.
33.
So yeah, he's pretty cheap out there at 3,300.
And that coach said that if he wasn't sick last week, he would have got more practice time. He didn't get the practice time.
I mean, that touchdown catch was ridiculous.
Listen,
is that the best? Is that the greatest first touchdown catch ever?
No, I don't know about that because I know Randy Moss made a whole bunch of them. So I'm just saying. So, but I will say this: that kid got some stuff, and he's going to force them to play him. And I think he would add to the offense. Take that other rascal. I forgot his name. I forgot the guy's name, Raymond or whatever his name is. Get him out of there.
Raymond. Yeah.
He is. Dude. This dude got some stuff on him. So I do like this guy as a. You will maybe hearing this guy later on because I think he might do a couple of things. But anyway.
Well, I'll trade him to you in the staff league.
Oh hell no! You just took him. I ain't doing that. I ain't trading for him. But I'm just saying, you suck. I'm looking for him.
I thought I'd take my chance. Trav, you got anything else here?
No, but it was funny when I could quit watching the Green Bay game. All my buddies are Packer fans, so I usually watch the game with them. But I had to leave. The game was over, and I was listening to it, and I heard he scored, and I thought about the Friday Night Lights podcast. And there it is. He caught one catch for a touchdown in garbage time. But hey, if they're going to use him more, his price point is good, and if he turns into the third receiver, he's going to have some value down the road. Maybe I don't know if he will this game, but I mean he's worth a shot in some lineups.
Yeah, I mean if you're a multiple lineups kind of person, 10, 15, 20, 100, whatever it is, why not pop him in one at that price point? Scores a touchdown, might help you a lot. New England heads to Miami. And I don't think Miami can play worse this week. I don't think it's possible because they were just absolutely horrible in week 1, but I don't really have that much faith in them playing that much better. Now, does that mean New England is actually worth playing? I don't know. Maybe Travion Henderson because he can catch the football. Maybe Drake May by himself, but this game is not really standing out to me. What do you think, Willie?
I'm going to take a couple of stacks in this game because I'm going to try because Miami looks so bad. They do. But we got to remember last year, I think Tua had 34 points and 4 touchdown passes against these guys. And New England
was that pre or post concussion?
I don't. It might have been pre-concussion. I don't know.
It probably was.
Yeah. So I'm just saying. Listen, I'm going to have a couple of tries. Listen, I don't feel good about it. Let me tell you this right now, because Tyreek Hill reminds me of Antonio Brown. He does, and I think he's getting. And what I mean by that is he's getting very assy with his behavior patterns. Okay, so I don't like that. I don't like you acting up and don't take your goddamn shirt off. And in the game, and then I know you're going to be going off here. So, but I just think that it's worth the shot to have a couple of people because I think Drake May is in play in this game. And I'm gonna tell you, the guy that I like a lot, who I might change as one of my pickers. I like Booty. Booty. In his last 4 games, he's averaged about 95 yards per game, 2 games over 100 yards. And he is the one that Drake May is starting to get, comfortable with. So I think Booty is if I'm gonna play Drake May, I will play him with Booty. Then I'm probably going to run it back with, I hate to say it, Tyreek Hill because he stinks. Okay, because he stinks. But we
all like some Booty for sure.
So I'm
maybe not the football player, but
right.
The other type. For me in this game, if I'm touching it, it's Achane and maybe Henderson, but it's Achane for me. What do you think, Trev?
Well, for Miami, it's Achane or nothing for me. I'm not touching anybody else. But you do realize they're going to be low owned. So if you do play a Hill and he goes off, you're going to have a big advantage. I'm just not going to play him. New England. I would love to play some New England players. I want to play Travion Henderson. Vrabel, make sure he gets the ball all the time. Because if he gets the volume, I think he scores a touchdown and can score 20 plus fantasy points. Because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for guys that I think that can score 20. Because if you can find guys that can score 20 points, then they can have the chance to get 30. So Booty, Diggs is interesting. Diggs wasn't out there all that much last week, but he did have 6 catches for 67 yards. So if he can, he's not high price. So I do have some interest in Diggs too. So I think somebody from the Patriots is going to show out well. It's just hard to put a finger on it. Hunter Henry could be good too, but HN Dolphins, I'm probably going to play some Travion Henderson, hoping they give the rookie his first touchdown.
Yeah, the running backs is really all I am looking at. An interesting game here now that Brock Purdy. It looks like Willie has something to say.
One last thing though, remember, the guy for the Colts looked good against Miami. So what I'm saying is I think Drake May got he got more talent, and the Colts did not do him any favor. He didn't have a lot of pre-snap motion in his game and stuff like that in this game.
You're talking about Vrabel for the Patriots?
No, not Vrabel. The coach, he's not the offensive coordinator. Raiders are coordinator. I've got the offensive coordinator.
McDaniels.
McDaniels. He didn't do a lot of pre-snap motion in his game. And when he did very well. So I think they will look at the film. And I just think, man, I'm going to have a little May against this guy. Because look, if the dude for the Colts had 29, come on, I'm just saying, listen, and I won't play his ass this week, not against Denver. He would not be in one lineup, but I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, I think I just think that Drake May is an interesting guy. That's all. I just think he's interesting.
I could see May showing out because I watched the Miami game over, Miami's defense looked slow. They look uninspired. I told Doc on first look, when you watch all the other teams' defenses play, you see teams flying around the ball. These guys look like they're in slow motion. So if they come out in slow motion again, Indianapolis didn't punt last week. I mean, they could have scored 50 in that if they wanted to. So, New England's going to be it wouldn't shock me if they scored 30 points against this defense.
Yeah, and Drake May does have a lot of similar skill sets to that of Daniel Jones. Not as much experience yet, but he does. And he's not like he doesn't have weapons. We talked about Boutte. I like Henderson as a pass catcher. Hunter Henry can have a game every now and then. Maybe Diggs gets more action. So you guys have warmed me up a little bit to Drake May. I definitely don't want any on the Dolphins side. I've just given up on them completely.
And back to Daniel Jones. When you have a lot of Jonathan Taylor, pisses you off when Danny Dimes is getting quarterback sneak touchdowns.
Two. And I got Jonathan Taylor, 2 of them. Come on, man. Stop trying to give him confidence. I know what that was. That was confidence. You know what? We're gonna pull your pants down, Willie, but we're gonna give him confidence. We ain't gonna let Mr. Taylor get a touchdown. You bastards! I didn't like it.
No, me neither.
It was frustrating. So no Brock Purdy. 49ers head to New Orleans. New Orleans not a very good team. San Fran still has a pretty good defense, and they still have Christian McCaffrey, who's healthy. Is McCaffrey going to see 25 or 30 touches in this game because Mac Jones is the quarterback? Or is Mac Jones actually going to play decent? Is Ricky Pearsall of interest? And is anyone of interest on the Saints side? Trevor, I'm going to let you roll, and I'm going to go get some more water.
Of course of course he's going to get the ball 20, 25 times. There's nobody else that's going to do it. I mean, he's the guy you want to play. And Mac Jones is at min price. If he throws 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, he's getting 16 points, and that's the minimum. But Mac Jones allows you to you can get McCaffrey, Chase, and Lamb if you want in your lineup. So you can get those players that could max out at other positions with Mac Jones. So a min-price Mac Jones is really appealing. I do like Ricky Pearsall. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't like him. On the Saints side, Kamara has some appeal. I don't know about the Saints. It's pretty tough. Juwan Johnson, he's lining up. They split him out a little bit. So Juwan Johnson, they're going to keep splitting him out and throwing him targets, he's appealing because he's only 3,600. But yeah, McCaffrey, he's still underpriced. What is he? Is McCaffrey? What is he? 7,500?
Yeah.
He's a $9,000 player.
Yeah, he's definitely cheap. And is it crazy to think that maybe Mac Jones at just $4,000? You don't get quarterbacks that cheap.
That's what I was just saying.
Even play Mac Jones,
touchdowns and 200 yards, that's 16 points, and that's just at a minimum. Plus, that price point allows you can get McCaffrey, Lamb, and Chase in your lineup with Mac Jones.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be appealing.
Listen, so the only thing that, first of all, McCaffrey is going to be in probably 100%, at least 90% of my lineups. I'm not even. He had 31 touches. If you're going to give me McCaffrey right now, 31 touches, and I played him last week. See, I was on him last week. So he was only 14% on last week, and I was on him. That lineup I showed you, I had McCaffrey. McCaffrey was like almost. I thought about it, but then I said, you know what? I'm gonna lock him in because people are scared. Everybody was scared of him, and he's the most healthiest guy they have. That's the ironic thing about everything is he is the healthiest bastard that's there. So, but the thing about it though, he was hit behind a line 50% of the time, so that line got to get a little better. You know what I mean? Because that running game, but he's going to get the pass catches, and it's New Orleans. Now, I don't mind a couple of New Orleans because Olave had 13 targets, Johnson had 11 targets, and he ran 47 routes. He ran 40. He played 100% of the plays. They're short. Right. They're 2 tight ends. So what
he's their wide receiver too.
Right. So what I'm saying is, I don't mind having McCaffrey and you put him at the tight end position. You know what I mean? So because I think they're going to be behind, and I don't mind. I'm going to have me some Mac Jones at $4,000. I'm going to have me some because you let me put a whole bunch of stuff because I like Mr. Puka too. I think Mr. Puka is very interested going against Tennessee. So I really do like this game. I think this game is interesting. And I think, but the guy that I like more than anything is Johnson. And I love McCaffrey. McCaffrey is going to be a a core play for me, for
Well,
sure.
think about this. McCaffrey had 23 points last week, fantasy points. He didn't score.
Yeah.
He's scoring this week.
I mean, we all know that when CMC is healthy, he's going to eat, right?
I just told
In season long, I didn't want any shares because I didn't think the calf would hold up eventually. But if he's going into a week healthy, play the man. I mean, there's no reason not to.
if he gets hurt in the first quarter, he gets hurt. You got to take
You're
your swings
done.
when you can. You got to take your swings when you can.
Because he's going to get hurt. It might be
You
the fifth
can't-
guy. I'm going to suck everything out of him before he gets hurt. You know, so I'm
You
playing.
can't in DFS. You can't tiptoe and be scared.
Yep.
Very, very good point. We'll move over to the Seahawks heading to Pittsburgh. And, well, I mean, Darnold wasn't great in his debut. Aaron Rodgers was excellent in his debut. Are either of these quarterbacks or any of these running backs, wide receivers, any of these players of interest to you, Mr. Walls?
Pass. This game is a pass for me. I know what he did last week, but listen, if I had to play anybody, it might be Mr. Metcalf in the lineup because for the revenge factor.
Revenge narrative. I love me some revenge.
Yeah, so that's about it. But and because Rodgers is an asshole, he would try to give him the ball a lot. So it might say, you know what? Don't worry about it. I don't see nobody else. I'm gonna throw you the ball in the goal line. So he might have 2 touchdowns. You follow what I'm saying? So that'll be the only one. But Seattle's defense is pretty good, and so Mr. Rodgers is going to be listen because he was tiptoeing. He had a lot of easy, short fields. You know what I mean? So I know he got 4 touchdowns, but man, his average per attempt, man, I'm looking at the metrics. It don't add up to what you think it might add up to. So I'm going to pass on Mr. Rodgers. Only guy that I might have a little interest would be Mr. Metcalf. Or and then what's his name? He's not bad either. But I'm just saying this game is more of a pass for me because I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be an type of game.
All right. So there's one player that I'm just kind of gonna hitch my wagon to this week. Maybe I'll be totally wrong, but I wanna leave the show with something. I want to make my mark on it. Jonnu Smith. Seattle gave up so many yards to the 49ers tight ends. Guys I've never even heard of, plus Kittle. I could see Jonnu Smith having a real big game. He obviously was involved last week. We know Arthur Smith loves him. He's only 3,900. Jonnu Smith is my, let's call it, play of the week of the players that you're not necessarily looking at. Trevor, over to you.
I wonder why Jonnu Smith got so much disrespect this offseason. I mean, I know he got traded from Miami. He put up 900 yards darn near last year. I think it was 899 yards last year. I mean, he starts up. And another thing about the tight ends for Pittsburgh or Jonnu Smith, Aaron Rodgers is a stat patter. It can be 1st and goal at the 1. He's throwing touchdown passes. He's trying to get touchdown passes. He's not handing the ball off. He wants – look at his MVP seasons where he's throwing 13 of his touchdown passes were 2 yards in. So he's going to throw it. So that makes the tight ends that much better. But for me, I like Pittsburgh's defense a lot. I think Darnold's good for a pick 6. I'm glad Minnesota got rid of him. I'm glad they went with the young guy.
Well, that young guy certainly showed up when it mattered most. And Darnold never did that. As a Viking, he was only good when it didn't seem to matter. So I'm with you there. Anything else on this game, fellas? Guess not. All right, I'll take that silence as what it is. You mentioned Puka Nacua, Willie. It's time to talk Puka and the Rams heading to Tennessee. What do you like in this game besides Mr. Puka?
Well, listen, I don't like nothing on the Tennessee side. That Rams defense is pretty stout, to be honest with you, but the interesting thing about Puka is he missed a quarter of a game. He missed a quarter. Remember, he had stitches. Remember he got those stitches and 10 of 11 tackles, 130 yards. And listen, the quarterback for Denver left a lot of meat on that bone. He missed a lot of passes that people were open. I'm just telling you.
Oh yeah, Knicks looked real rusty.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Puka. Puka, man, listen, he was targeted on 50% of his routes, and I just think, and the thing I like about it, he played 52%. Remember, Cup not there no more. 52% in the slot. You give me Puka in the slot, I think he's a very interesting guy, and I played him last week too. I had Puka in there, and I think against Tennessee, I think he's a very interesting play. But on the Tennessee side, this Rams defense is kind of stout.
It's very good. It's very good. It only got better and better as the season went on, and it looks really good this season so far too. I mean, maybe that's the Texans' offensive line lacking still and not improved like we thought they were. But yeah, you're right about that Rams defense. And Puka, you mentioned it, missed half a quarter, didn't score a touchdown, I don't think either. Still put up 26 points. I mean, that guy's got 35 to 40 written all over him.
Yeah. What are you going to say, Trevor?
Well, I'm kind of mad at myself about Puka. I didn't draft him in any of my leagues just because I never trust the guy to get up. But for DFS on Sundays, he's darn near a must play. I mean, he's another guy that's going to be a $9,000 player that's just not priced right. The optimizers loved him last week. I asked Doc, I says, I'm not in the cool. What am I missing? He said, go with him. So I put him in with a Puka, and it really saved my day. Optimizers are all over Nakua again this week. I mean, he's almost uncoverable. I mean, because they can move him around so much, and he catches, he catches the ball. And like I said, if he scores a touchdown, he's going to be that 30-point ceiling guy. And that's what you need to do to take down tournaments.
But see, the point that we're missing all about this is he got that guy right next to him, Adams.
Yeah, Adams
has seen everything, and it seemed like Puka is a savant. He picks up stuff, and listen, I'm telling you, this, and if he stays healthy, only thing about Puka is just staying healthy. You know what I mean? It's just staying healthy, because if he stays healthy, and as long as the bad back stays healthy, bad back Stafford stays healthy, you know what I mean? He's going to get the rock. I mean, and I love the fact that because McVay is going to get him involved. 52% of the slot. Come on, man. If you give me Puka at 52% of the slot, what is he, 7,600 again? What's his price?
So I think
you got him at 7,600. Come on, man. I'm going, and I see him getting the end zone this week. Nah, man. I'm going to give me some Puka. I'm telling you, I love Puka.
Yeah, 7,600. Way too cheap.
Anything on the Titans side at all, Trevor, or are you with us?
No, I think the Titans are going to be a play further down the road. They played good football last week. They played hard. Some bounces didn't go their way, and they set up for a lot of field goals, and some of them were broken plays. Denver's defense was flying around, so I was shocked they scored any points when I watched the game, because Denver's defense is that fast. But
yeah, they are.
No, we'll wait down.
Cam Ward took too many sacks, and again, rookie in Denver, not an easy task. But I think he was like 12 for 27 or something, or 12 or 28 passing. I mean, that's not going to get it done against anybody. So,
but they also
he should be in for a bit of an easier situation. The Rams are still good, but they're not Denver, and it's at home in Tennessee.
What about Ridley, though? Ridley's only 4,900. He dropped a few passes last week. I know the Rams defense is great, but if Ward can create a little bit of time, the secondary isn't that great. But I just don't know. But last week, it's hard to judge him, because last week put him in Denver's the worst spot you could have put him.
And they let him down too, because they dropped 4 or 5 passes. They let him down. They had some drops. So that wasn't.
The Rams aren't that great against the tight end historically either. I don't know. Chigo Conkel got a few targets, but every time I want to step out with him, it never works.
He poo-poos in my lineup every time I play that bastard. So I'm not. He got to beat me. A Conkel or Tutu, whatever his name is, Tutu got to beat me. I'm gonna call him Tutu, because every time I play him, he plays like he got tutus on, like those little girls, and that's what he plays like for me. So he can kiss my black. That's what he can kiss.
And with that, we'll head over to Carolina and Arizona. Got to think Bryce Young could improve maybe a little bit. I like Bryce Young coming into the season, so I'm hoping it's a lot better than what we saw. Gotta love Trey McBride. The guy's always threat for 10 plus catches. James Conner always a threat to score a touchdown. Kyler Murray runs around like mini me out there. Love him too. Not so sure I love this game, but I do like those players on the Arizona side. And for Carolina, if I'm going to go with anything, it would be Chuba Hubbard. But I think there's so many better options out there. Trevor, what do you think?
Nobody on Arizona, on Carolina. I'm just not touching Carolina. Connor is going to be a play. I think he could score 15 points by halftime. Carolina's run defense stinks. We mentioned all these cheap tight ends. And if you're going to play Mac Jones, or you can really get McBride in there. And McBride is in a position where he could break the slate at tight end. I mean, this could be a 25-point game for him. Will it be? I don't know. But if he's got to score that touchdown, I could see 9 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown if they want to push it. But, they're going to be running the ball with Connor, and then the back Benson's going to run. If they get the lead, they're going to just run the ball with those 2 guys. That's the only thing you worry about with the passing game. I'm not playing Marvin Harrison. That just doesn't seem to be working. So,
yeah, and McBride is one of those guys who I would play even if I'm not playing anything else in this game. Right. I would go with some of the stacks we've talked about, and if I have that money, I'd pay up for McBride because I'm with you. I think he can smash on this slate. I think he's always set up to smash. It's him or my boy Jonnu for me. Willie, what do you think?
I'm gonna disagree with y'all. I got some interest in this game, and the reason being is you look at that game with Arizona. First of all, look at New Orleans. Look with the Saints. Well, because what I'm telling you is, I think McMillan is going to be one of my favorite plays on the slate. McMillan could have had a huge game. It was a lot of meat on that bone that they left. They had a pass interference that could have been a touchdown for him when he had a one-handed catch. They had another play that he missed. I'm just telling you, this dude could ball. And what I'm telling you is, I think, because I do like Connor a lot in this game, because I think Connor can eat, running the ball. I like McBride in this game. I think McBride is very interesting. And I think Kyler Murray, this might be a 3-touchdown game for Kyler Murray. So I'm just saying, this game I have some interest in, but what I'm going to do is I'm running back with McMillan. I'm just telling you, I think this guy is going to pop. People saw what happened last week. He still had 61 yards. He had like 9
targets.
Yeah. So what I'm telling you is, I think McMillan is a very interesting guy in this game. If they're going to be behind and they playing in the dome, because you got to remember they had that game last week when they had that thunderstorm, and they left the game and come back, so the game was uneven and things of that nature. So I just think that McMillan is a very interesting guy to me. I really do. So I just think that I do have a little interest in Tyler. I do have a little interest in the quarterback, a lot of interest in McBride. And I normally don't pay up at tight end, but I have a lot of interest in Mr. McBride in this game. And I think McMillan, I like him. I like this rookie, and I think he might get one of those 100-yard games. Get a touchdown. You know what I mean? And that could help you get 23, 24 points from this dude in this game at his price point. Can be a big thing for your lineups.
Yeah, 5,400, not too bad. Trevor, anything else on this game?
I mean, you could talk me into McMillan. I'm hoping he's going to do really good because I have so many shares of him in seasonal. So I can see what you're saying there. I mean, if you're going to play anybody from Carolina, it's McMillan.
So this next game, Denver and Indianapolis, I personally am not taking a single play in it, except maybe the Colts defense. Maybe it's cheap and the Broncos offense didn't look great, but I think it was just kind of a week 1 thing. I expect them to be a lot better. But if there is anything in this game for me, it's Colts defense. What do you think, Willie?
I'm not really interested in this game, but I will say this: that Tyler Warren, he could ball. I'm gonna tell you something. That's a player right there.
He's real good.
And y'all bastards, especially in this league, when people kept going early, I said I can't go up that far for him. But listen, that dude could play. He really could play, man. I like him. And if you're going to do anything against Denver, that you want to go with the tight end position, instead of the receivers and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just saying, listen. This game is a pass for me. Basically, it's a pass for me. So I'll let somebody else have that. But I'm just saying, Warren can play. That dude is a baller.
Yeah, definitely give him credit where credit is due. Trevor, anything in this game at all? The
passing on this game, I do like the defenses on both sides. I think one of them could make a defensive touchdown. something of that nature. I agree about Tyler Warren. If the Colts needed a push last week, he would have had 10 catches for 100 yards. I mean, he was dynamite. And I know Miami's defense stinks, but Warren's going to be a guy we're going to be playing a lot this year.
Agreed. Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl rematch. Do we see another spanking? Do we see the Chiefs go to 0-2? Is the Chiefs dynasty starting to come to an end? Do we trust Juju or Hollywood Brown if Worthy does in fact miss this game? Is Kelsey washed? So many questions on the Chiefs side. On the Eagles side, are they going to get their wide receivers involved in this game? Because they certainly didn't in the last game against the Dallas Cowboys. So Trevor, start us off. Eagles, Chiefs, likes, dislikes.
I'm going with the passing game. I think it's going to be just like the Super Bowl. Both these teams are very good against the run. I know Philadelphia wasn't as good last week, but they're going to have Carter back in. But yeah, Barkley, it's not a Barkley game for me. He's just too high priced. The Chiefs will stop him. Remember in the Super Bowl, Hurts to Brown to Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith's the guy I really like. There's going to be probably no Goddard. When there's no Goddard, you play Smith. When there's no Smith, you play Goddard. So I'm going with Devonta Smith. He's 6,400. I think McDuffie is going to be on Brown. Smith is going to be the main guy. Chiefs side, I know everybody's going to be on Hollywood Brown. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to play Schuster. I'm not going to play Kelsey. I'm just going to stay away from the Chiefs. I just don't like the Chiefs in this game. I think their ownership is going to be too high. For, like I said, Marquise Brown is probably going to be 25% owned, I would think, because he had 16 targets last week, and I'm just not going to go there.
What say you, Willie?
I think and I can't stand this bastard, but I do like what Trevor said about Brown. I mean, about Smith. But I think Brown's going to be in play too. I think, listen, anytime I looked at the Chiefs last week, man, and, Herbert ate them for lunch. You know what I mean? So I just think that everybody's down on them. They saw Philadelphia the way they played. But what was it again? What would he say? It's a divisional game. The Chiefs, when they get their guys back, but I don't like their running game. And I think when the Ravens play them, I think they're gonna put foots, hands, and feet, all on the Chiefs, man. Because I'm gonna tell you, but one thing I'm gonna say about Mr. Mahomes, I'm gonna call him Mister because he deserved the respect. He's still a baller, even though he playing with me and you out there. Especially if he don't play. But I'm just telling you, I just think that the receivers for and I agree without Goddard, I think the receivers for Philadelphia is in play. Especially, I like what you said, Trevor, about Devontae Smith, because Devontae Smith only had and he effed me too, that bastard, with his 2 catches for 27 yards. So anyway, I had him on. I had him in. Yeah, man. I don't like that, but I think he's in play because I think the Chiefs and I think McDuffie, like you said, but players. So if I'm interested in the receiver, it's going to be Smith. But I think the quarterback's in play in this game. I'm talking about the quarterback for Philadelphia. I think he's in play in this game.
Yeah, I mean he'll convert a third down to a first down. He'll run into the end zone. He vultures so many touchdowns from Saquon because of the tush push.
Yeah.
And for the Chiefs, yeah, man, no running game at all. And I will like Mahomes if Worthy and Rice are both back healthy, not suspended on the field together. That's when I'll like Mahomes again. But until I see that, Chiefs just don't scare me offensively. Mahomes can only do so much. He's not Josh Allen or Lamar. You know what I mean? He has tons of skill and he can run, but he's not the type of guy I'm playing naked the way I would Lamar or Josh Allen. Maybe 5 years ago, but not now. Anything else in this game, fellas?
The way I see Hurts is he's gonna run for a touchdown, he's gonna throw for 2. And that's, to me, I think that's going to be his minimum, and his yardage is going to be what sets him above everybody else. So if I'm not paying down for quarterbacks, he's the pay-up guy on the slate that I'm paying up for.
And a lot of people are scared to play him because of what they saw last week. But you got to remember, divisional games are a little different than the other games. And and so this will be the type of game, especially like I said. And I'm going to have a couple of shares of AJ Brown too. Now I hate playing AJ Brown, but I'm just saying he was so bad, so bad, and they were so, so we're going to see because Vegas likes it. Vegas likes this game, for points. So that kind of surprised me too. So
JS says eat the chalk on Hollywood.
Okay.
Eat the chalk on Hollywood Brown.
I play a ton of lineups. He's going to find a lineup or two of mine, but I'd rather pay the $400 more for Smith at a much lower ownership. I was looking, Devonta Smith is looking like he's going to be less than 4% owned. I'm thinking 100 yards and a touchdown for Smith. So that's just my case.
And he could do that on 3 catches.
I think he's going to get about 5.
That's what also I like about Smith. He can help. He can do a lot on like 3 plays.
But I like your point without Goddard, how they go more to him. So that's a good point there. So
all right, let's get to each of your lineup locks this week. Now, of course, these things could change. It's only Friday night. You got till 12:59 and 59 seconds Eastern time on Sunday. So, of course, things can change. But, Willie, give me your locks of the week. I know you mentioned McCaffrey at one point.
Yeah. Well,
who else?
Listen, McCaffrey's going to be in most of my lineups. I think I'm playing McMillan for Carolina. I got conviction on him. I'm going to be playing a lot of Puka. I'm playing a lot of Puka in the game here. And I think Mr. Connors is an interesting guy going against Carolina. I think he's interesting. He was kind of on the assy side, but I do see what they see about Trey Benson before the end of the season. I'm not surprised if Trey Benson is the one that's leading this thing. He looks good. You could tell that he's growing up. So, but I do, so those are the guys. I mean, but McCaffrey, man, McCaffrey is going to be a guy like now, but my stack that I like, that I think a lot of people are not going to play is I'm going to go with Calamari. Okay. I'm going to go with Trey McBride. Okay. And then I'm going to run it back with McMillan because I think McMillan is going to be a guy that the more I think about it, the more I'm going to have interest in them because they look so bad. They're going to be in a dome. So I think, I think the fantasy points are going to, it's going to be a lot better. And I might, Trevor, do what, and I don't like this bastard, but I might even play the quarterback for Carolina because he was so bad the last game, So I think this game is very interesting. I think, and then I also, a person that I like a lot, like I told you, I love Josh Palmer. Well, we'll talk about that. That's our little plays that we do later, but yeah.
No, that's exactly what I was looking for is your favorite, your final locks, your plays of the week. So anyone else on top of all those guys, or are you good? Are you good for now?
I'm good for now, but I'll like to get a balls to the walls call with a couple of people where I'm gonna take a shot.
I'll give you your balls to the walls call in a moment. We'll go over to Trevor for his locks, his trust in Trevor locks.
I'm going with Devonta Smith. I have to feel confident about it. I'm going to be playing a lot of McCaffrey. I'm going to be playing a lot of Jamar Chase. Puka's going to make it. Lamb, but Smith is that low-owned guy. I'm going to play a lot of Mac Jones, and if I'm not playing Mac Jones, I think I'm going to be stacking Philly a lot with. Well, not Smith and Hurts. I think Hurts is going to have a big game.
All right, balls to the walls call. We've been waiting for it.
Tesla is going to get more. Is going to get more stuff for Detroit. So I'm going to have him in a couple of lineups. Mr. Tesla and Joshua Palmer, the ass is going to be prevalent in this game. I wouldn't surprise me if you get over 100 yards in this game at this price point. That would be a big boom. So I'm going to be playing some Joshua Palmer. I think Joshua Palmer is a very, very, very. Oh, and one last guy. I do like Brenton Strange. I love Brenton Strange in this matchup.
I feel like Brenton Strange is like our communal play of the week. Yeah. I think we all like Brenton Strange. Yeah. In a strange way, we all like Brenton Strange. So that'll do it for Friday Night Lights NFL DFS Week 2. Thank you for spending part of your Friday night with us. And I mean, maybe Saturday or Sunday. There's some crazy noise going on outside my window here. So I apologize for that, but thank you for taking the time to join us. Willie, say your goodbyes.
Listen, be well, and like Dr. I would say, take care.
Trev, can you beat Willie's goodbye, or at least
No,
give us
I
one?
was like, good luck, everybody. Let's take home some cash.
Yeah, no one can beat that Willie goodbye. And yes, the office is closed. Take care. All the catchphrases, all of those things. Again, thanks for watching. Good luck this weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.